Welcome back, friends. Republic News break and Sting on the Mahadev wedding scam has shaken up Chhattisgarh politics. In a massive update on the same, Republic has now accessed a video of a man claiming to be Shubham Soni, claiming to be the owner of Mahadev app in fact. The man claims that he's an accused aide, and in the video he has implicated Chief Minister Bhagel's office. Let's listen into what Shubham Soni has said, then we come back with some exclusive elements from ED documents as well.
मैं शुभम सोनी बोल रहा हूँ और मैं महादेव बुक का ओनर हूँ। ये रहे उसके डॉक्यूमेंट्स। और ये मेरे आधार डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं। ये मेरा आधार कार्ड है। ये मेरा पैन कार्ड है। और ये मेरा पासपोर्ट है। और महादेव बुक का ओनर मैं ही हूँ। ये आपको डॉक्यूमेंट दिखा दिया है मैंने। और 2021 में इसको मैंने चालू किया था। ये उसका पूरा डॉक्यूमेंट्स है। मेरा गैम्बलिंग का काम बहुत अच्छे से चलने लगा था फिर भिलाई में, और ये तो बहुत ही छोटे से काम चालू हुआ था। उसके बाद धीरे धीरे काम बढ़ता गया। अब काम बढ़ता गया, उसके बाद हमारा लाइफस्टाइल भी चेंज होता गया क्योंकि पैसा बहुत आ रहे थे। तो सब नोटिस करने लगे, मेरे मतलब जो आसपास के लोग हैं वो लोग नोटिस करने लगे। धीरे धीरे बात ऊपर तक गया, तो फिर कंप्लेन वगैरह भी होने लगा। तो फिर ऐसा हुआ कि अब प्रोटेक्शन का जब बहुत ज़रूरत था हमको, क्योंकि लड़के भी अंदर हो रहे थे कुछ कुछ। तो उसके बाद मुझे पता चला वर्मा जी के बारे में। फिर मैंने उनसे मीटिंग की। फिर मुझे समझ लो हफ्ता वसूली वाला काम चालू हो गया। अब वर्मा जी से मैंने मीटिंग किया, तो फिर उनसे बात हुआ, और ये हुआ कि अब उनको मुझे हर महीना 10 लाख रुपए देना है। तो वो भी ओके हो गया। अब हर महीना मैंने उनको 10 लाख रुपए देना चालू कर दिया। तो काम अब बढ़िया चलने लगा मेरा, और पैसा भी कमा रहे थे हम, सब कुछ ओके था। उसके कुछ दिन बाद ऐसा हुआ कि हमारे लड़के फिर अंदर हुए। अब वो छूट ही नहीं रहे हैं वापस। तो मैंने वर्मा जी को कॉल लगाया कि सर अभी कैसे हो गया, आपको तो मैं पैसा भी दे रहा हूँ, उसके बाद भी लड़के अंदर हो रहे हैं और छूट भी नहीं रहे हैं, बाहर निकल ही नहीं रहे हैं वो लोग। तो वो बोले कि चलो करते हैं कुछ। फिर उसके बाद भी लड़के नहीं छूटे। फिर मैंने वापस कॉल किया उनको, तो वो बोले कि भैया लगता है अभी यहाँ से काम नहीं होगा, मैं चलो आपको किससे मिलवाता हूँ, ऐसा करके बोले हो। मैं बोला ठीक है सर मिलवा दीजिए, बस लड़के लोग को बाहर निकलवाना है। तो वो मेरे को लेके गए, साथ में लेके गए रायपुर। मैं बोला ठीक है मिलवा लो भैया, जिससे भी मिलवाना है।
Now that's a breaking news development, friends. We have accessed the Enforcement Directorate Remand copy against Shubham Soni. Shubham Soni is the same person who was on your screen a few seconds back, where in a mea culpa he's admitting to the manner in which things were going on under the protection of the state administration, and that he was in touch with a close Bhupesh Bhagel aide by the name of Mr. Verma. Asim Das acted as a courier, and these are ED documents. We will try and connect with Shubham Soni. He brings to us these exclusive papers, and essentially this is the remand copy of the Enforcement Directorate in which they sought custody for interrogating Asim Das, and it's clear that the phone that was confiscated from Asim Das, and who acted as a ground liaison on behalf of the administration, it seems, and was in touch with the administration to facilitate certain asks from the scamsters. The ED has also retrieved a recorded message from Shubham Soni to Asim Das from Asim Das's phone. Now, these are part of the ED remand papers, and essentially what it says is that Asim Das has corroborated certain facts. Then there are certain circumstantial evidences which we'll discuss. But let's listen into what the BJP has made out of this. with a press conference just a couple of hours back by Sudhanshu Trivedi of the party. Let's listen it.
एक व्यक्ति शुभम सोनी ने मीडिया में बोली हैं, मुझे लगता है, मैंने क्यों कहा कि ऐसे ऐसे नए डायमेंशन। छत्तीसगढ़ की सरकार, हम लोग बचपन से सुनते आ रहे हैं कि एक सरकार थी जिसने चारा में घोटाला किया था, इन्होंने गोबर में घोटाला किया। अब आप सोचिए, गाय के गोबर में घोटाले से लेके इंटरनेट के आधुनिक बेटिंग ऐप तक इतना विविधतापूर्ण भ्रष्टाचार आपको भारत की राजनीति में देखने को नहीं मिलेगा। We will not be able to witness such a diversified level of corruption which the Chhattisgarh government had said. और छत्तीसगढ़ के गांवों से लेके खाड़ी के देशों तक इतना बड़ा ज्योग्राफिकल स्पैन एक छोटे से राज्य में भ्रष्टाचार का आपको देखने को नहीं मिलेगा। इसलिए छत्तीसगढ़ की जनता बहुत साफ साफ यह बात समझ रही है कि सरकारी जुआरियों को अब दूसरी पारी नहीं मिलनी चाहिए। और महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि पैसा विदेश कैसे गया और विदेश से कैसे आया, जांच एजेंसियां जांच कर रही हैं। पर ज्यादा गंभीर बात यह है कि पहले तो भ्रष्टाचार को उस निचले स्तर तक लाना कि जुए का पैसा प्रयोग करना, और उसके बाद खाड़ी के देशों में पैसा जाना और खाड़ी के देशों से पैसा आना। मुझे लगता है कि अब भूपेश बघेल जी और राहुल गांधी जी दोनों के पास अब कोई चारा नहीं है, उन्हें साफ साफ सफाई देनी होगी कि यह पैसा कहां से आया।
All right, let's also listen into what Bhupesh Bhagel had to say when he was confronted by a team on the ground in Raipur. In fact, after the Congress party released the manifesto, let's listen into what Bhupesh Bhagel told Piyush Shourie of Republic TV.
बघेल साहब, बस एक टिप्पणी चाहिए। जनता चाहती है कि आप सुने। सर, महादेव पे आपके आरोप लगे हैं, उसमें टिप्पणी दे दीजिए सर। ये आपकी भलाई का बोल रहा हूं मैं। सर एक सेकंड सर, महादेव पे लगा हुआ सर।
अभी जाओ लंच के लिए जाओ।
सर महादेव पे हुआ सर, एक टिप्पणी दे दीजिए सर। बघेल जी एक टिप्पणी सर, एक टिप्पणी चाहिए सर।
एक ये है, मैं इंडिविजुअल किसी को नहीं दे रहा हूँ। दूसरा, एक मिनट सुनिए, आज घोषणा पत्र जारी किया है, दूसरे सब्जेक्ट में बात नहीं होगी। धन्यवाद
सर। एक टिप्पणी सर, बस एक आपके भले के लिए।
All right, Shravan Sen, our senior writer, in fact, who accessed those documents, is joining us live now. I would straight go to him. Shravan, please explain to us and the viewers what exactly are these documents, and do they help us in connecting the dots between the main accused in the scam and now, as it is alleged, the doorsteps of the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh of the Congress party, Bhupesh Bhagel?
Well, in fact, in our previous broadcast, Abhishek, we put out this video of a man who claims to be Shubham Soni. Now, the documents that are in possession of Republic TV, which also includes a remand copy, and apart from that also, we have accessed a few documents pertaining to the operations of Mahadev app. Therein, you do find a mention of Shubham Soni. Let me first begin by putting out in perspective about who exactly is Shubham Soni according to the Enforcement Directorate. Enforcement Directorate says that he is part of the management of Mahadev app. In fact, he, through his liaison, that is the Asim Das, who is currently in the custody of the Enforcement Directorate, was actually in touch with political leaders in the state of Chhattisgarh. Now, Asim Das has already been arrested. In his statement that has been given before the Enforcement Directorate, he specifically talks about the fact that he actually got a call. he got a call from Shubham Soni, and the transcript of that call, which has also been taken into consideration by the Enforcement Directorate and finds a mention in the court papers. Now, in that particular document, they make a mention of the fact that some delivery had to be given. The delivery was nothing but cash to be delivered to the Chief Minister's office. Now, what we are picking up is that Asim Das was actually in touch with Shubham Soni. There are multiple calls that are that have been recorded. In fact, the Enforcement Directorate says that they had sent out a summon to Shubham Soni. Shubham Soni physically hasn't appeared before the Enforcement Directorate, but now we do have a confirmation, Abhishek, that he's actually written to the Enforcement Directorate. And he has also admitted to the fact that he was making money, or he was paying money to the Chief Minister's office. He specifically, in his response to the Enforcement Directorate, talks about the fact that there was monthly payment that was being given to the political advisor. And secondly, with regards to whether at all there was some sort of protection given or not, it is he, Shubham Soni, in his statement to the Enforcement Directorate, in his response to the Enforcement Directorate summon, has actually made that stunning revelation of about 508 crore rupees charge that has been leveled against Bhupesh Bhagel. In fact, he says that he's met Bhupesh Bhagel multiple times. He also says that it is Bhupesh Bhagel who had actually given instructions to him to shift to Dubai so that the operations can be carried out from Dubai. Remember, these are claims that have been made by Shubham Soni. He has written to the Enforcement Directorate. This is in response to the summons that were issued by the Enforcement Directorate. To join the dots, yes, it does actually reach now the doorstep of the Chief Minister's office. Now, whether at all can you take this on face value or not, remember his statement has not been recorded under Section 50 of the PMLA Act. Once the statement is recorded under the Section 50 of the PMLA Act, it does become admissible before the court. So we'll have to wait and watch whether at all the Enforcement Directorate in the coming few days is in a position to take the statement of Shubham Soni under Section 50. Once that happens, remember, it is going to add more trouble for the Chief Minister, because in all likelihood, going by the procedure of the Enforcement Directorate, one cannot rule out the possibility that at some stage the Chief Minister too will be summoned by the Enforcement Directorate, if for nothing else, at least for recording his statement, because at least his name has surfaced many a times during the course of the investigation, and that is the reason why perhaps it's opportune for the Enforcement Directorate at least to give that opportunity to the Chief Minister to explain his position on this entire matter.
Shravan, just stay with us. It's an important aspect that you are highlighting, which is that there is a likelihood of the Chhattisgarh Chief Minister getting questioned after all this information coming out. I'll come back to that question once again, Shravan. But just let's listen into how former Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh and BJP leader Raman Singh really responded to these latest revelations.
आरोप ही नहीं है, प्रमाणित दस्तावेज के साथ उनके सामने साक्ष्य पेश किए गए। 509 करोड़ का लेन देन का प्रमाण हुआ, ट्रांजैक्शन के रिकॉर्ड मिले हैं, 5 करोड़ का राशि और 7 करोड़ की राशि जब्त किए गए हैं। दुबई से कनेक्शन मिला है। दुबई के कनेक्शन के साथ इनके सचिवालय के 3 अधिकारियों का सीधा महादेव ऐप के जो संचालक हैं उनके साथ पैसे का ट्रांजैक्शन का प्रमाण ईडी ने प्रस्तुत किया है। इसके बाद क्या बचता है मुझे समझ में नहीं आता भूपेश बघेल का। अब कोई उसको रंगे हाथ कोई उसके घर में पकड़ेगा क्या? इससे ज़्यादा प्रमाण।
लेकिन देखिए, मुख्यमंत्री जी तो ये कह रहे हैं कि ये सब आरोप है, इनको उनकी छवि धूमिल करने के लिए ये सब आरोप है भारतीय जनता पार्टी द्वारा। बताइए,
महादेव ऐप में इतना बड़ा खुलासा पीएमएलए में प्रिवेंशन ऑफ मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग एक्ट में हुआ है, तो क्या आसमान खा गया पैसा? पूरा संरक्षण प्राप्त है छत्तीसगढ़ में ऐसे अपराधी गतिविधियों का। सट्टा जुआ और इस अपराध में इलेक्शन के लिए फंडिंग कर रहे हैं। 509 करोड़ चुनाव के लिए भेजा है भूपेश बघेल के लिए।
बल्कि आपको पता ही होगा कि हमने भी सर एक स्टिंग किया जिसमें हमें पता चला है कि काफ़ी पुलिस वाले भी शायद समझ लेते, उसमें ईडी ने भी अरेस्ट किया उसके बाद, और उसके जो लिंक्स है वो मुख्यमंत्री के ऑफिस तक मतलब जा रहे हैं,
ऑफिस तक मिले हैं। 3 नाम प्रकट रूप से आए हैं और ये तीनों लोगों की संलिप्तता साफ दिख रही है और ये अकेला एक प्रकार का महादेव ऐप की बात नहीं है। हिंदुस्तान में और कहीं ऐसा हो सकता है क्या? सरकारी खजाना का लूट इतना खुलेआम हो कि बिना हॉलमार्क के 40% शराब को बिना टैक्स पटाए सरकारी शराब दुकान से बेची जाए। क्या कोयले में इससे ज़्यादा भ्रष्टाचार दुनिया में कहीं हो सकता है?
लेकिन सर मैं महादेव में ही ज़रा फोकस रखूंगा सर। एक और मतलब अब खुलासा आया है, ये ईडी की रिमांड कॉपी में भी आया है और अब एक वीडियो भी इमर्ज आ रही है कि जिसमें एक इंसान है शुभम सोनी, वो अपने आप को महादेव का ओनर बुलाता है, अपने आप को महादेव का ओनर बोलता है और वो बोलता था कि वो असीम दास के द्वारा चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफिस में कोई वर्मा जी है उनके द्वारा पैसे भेजता था। अब ये कितनी सच्चाई है? ये
असीम के पास ही तो 5.37 करोड़ रुपए के पैसे जब्त हुए। वही असीम दास है जिसने स्वीकार किया बघेल नामक व्यक्ति को मैं पैसा देता। वही असीम दास है जिसके दुबई के कनेक्शन मिले हैं। तो ये सारे प्रमाण के लिंक मिलते जा रहे हैं और प्रमाण के साथ ईडी ने ऐसी कार्रवाई नहीं की, पूरे पुख्ता जानकारी के साथ, पूरे दस्तावेज के साथ किया है और उसके बाद भी बेशर्मी की हद भूपेश बघेल ईडी पे आरोप लगा रहे हैं।
इसका अंत आप कहाँ तक देखते हैं?
अंत होगा, न्यायालय में जाएंगे और न्यायालय में कार्रवाई होगी और सजा होगी।
Okay, I'm going back to Shravan. Shravan, you know, Saurabh Chandrakar, who happens to be in Dubai, now Shubham Soni, Asim Das, some Mr. Verma. If you connect the dots, really, it does lead us to a situation where you can't but ask the Congress party what was happening, because the entire scam has happened within the jurisdiction of the Chhattisgarh government. And there was an investigation which was started by the local police, and then subsequently it is essentially the ED and the income tax department or the CBI that are into it. Why did the government not do anything about it? Are you getting a sense, because you have tracked the story for a while, that there was an element of indulgence with the scam and then protection of the scamsters during this entire period, which makes these agencies believe that ultimately the beneficiary might have been the chief minister?
Well, Abhishek, keeping aside the political rhetoric, Bharatiya Janata Party would certainly be in a happier situation right now, given the fact that the chief minister is already in the talk. But purely speaking from the investigative point of view, this app began in the year 2017. A 28-year-old boy is behind it, and his associate was much older than him. Shubham Soni obviously comes into the picture because it is not only two persons, app that was being built. There were a large number of other people too, but perhaps the face for a very long time was none other than Saurabh Chandrakar himself. Now, the question is this, that if you simply go by the evidence that has been collected and also going by our own deep investigation, we are not saying this. You have the superintendent of the police, the man who's considered to be a close aide, or rather someone who's considered to be in the good books of the chief minister of Chhattisgarh, and he was entrusted with this entire investigation. He talks about the fact that there were multiple calls that he was getting in the course of the investigation, when he actually realized that his own staff, his own police officers, constables, they were all knee deep into the scam. So much so, when he actually came across some evidence against a constable and he wanted to take some sort of an action against him, it turned out that he got a call. And that call, he claims, was to basically protect this constable. So much so, he said, "Ye hamara aadmi hai." The fact of the matter is this, that if they believe that there is nothing to this entire investigation, why is it that the multiple charge sheets that we're talking about makes no mention of it? Why is it that before the court, the Chhattisgarh government did not make any mention of it? The other important aspect is this. Vinod Verma has already been called in for questioning by the enforcement director. He thereafter made a public statement saying that, look here, I'm absolutely clean. My family members have nothing to say. Their own officer, Abhishek Pallav, in the sting operation, then again goes on to say that Vinod Verma, his family members have shell companies. The question is for the state government to then take action against their own officer if they believe that these are false statements that have been made by the superintendent of police. Now, coming to the other aspect, that how exactly will such an app really flourish without some sort of a protection? If you really look at every testimony that has been accessed by Republic TV, almost each one of them has one thing to say, that the panel operators could actually operate freely only because there was some sort of protection. Even if there were some sort of farcical arrests that were actually made, because most of them were released in a couple of days because of the kind of setting, alleged setting that was in place. And that is exactly why perhaps the state government as well as the state police, they will have to do some answering, because at the end of the day, we're talking about a 5,000 crore rupees scam. And the reason why it is a scam, because remember, it's an illegal gambling that is being carried out. And it is not only one app, hundreds and hundreds of apps, because they are, after all, the aggregator. They allowed this kind of gambling that was actually happening over a period of time. And lastly, let me just conclude by saying this, Abhishek, that this is just the tip of the iceberg, because it turns out that the Enforcement Directorate has also taken cognizance of the tapes that we have put out, the cognizance in terms of the investigation that we have done, and the new revelations that have been made in the sting operation.
All right, this is just a tip of the iceberg, and obviously then, which means there is going to be a long-time investigation, perhaps, in fact, likely spilling over beyond the elections taking place in Chhattisgarh, so it's not political. But Shravan, thank you so much on that note. But we have to see the reactions coming in. Obviously, the BJP would want to put the Congress on the mat with this. Let's listen into what their top leaders, including Smriti Irani, have said.
मैं हैरान हूं, मैं जानती नहीं थी कि सत्ता को पाने की लालसा इतनी कि भूपेश जी दुबई के रिमोट कंट्रोल से चलाए जाएंगे। अब तक तो मुझे कहा गया था कि रिमोट इटली का है, अब पता चला है कि रिमोट दुबई में भी पड़ा है। फोन आता है टनाटन, आदमी भागता है धनाधन और पकड़ा जाता है करोड़ों रुपये के साथ। आज मैं कहना चाहती हूं भूपेश जी, ये कैसा अन्याय है आपका। नेताओं के बच्चों को पीएससी के घोटाले के माध्यम से नौकरी दिलवाते हो और गरीब के बेटों से सट्टा का ऐप चलवाते हो। भूपेश जी, ये क्या अन्याय है आपका। अपने व्यापारी भाइयों, अपने ठेकेदार बंधुओं के बच्चों को पीएससी के घोटाले से सरकारी नौकरी दिलवाने का पाप करते हो और गरीब के बच्चों को शराब में लिप्त छोड़ देते हो। आज डंके की चोट पर कहती हूँ कि ये जनता जनार्दन, वो माँ जिसका विश्वासघात हुआ, वो पिता जिसका सट्टे के ऐप की वजह से घर बर्बाद हुआ, उसकी हाय लगेगी कि पब्लिक 7 तारीख को पोलिंग बूथ पर जाएगी, कमल का बटन दबाएगी, लता को जिताएगी और छत्तीसगढ़ में भाजपा की सरकार बनाएगी।
देखिए, हमारे देश में तो करप्शन भी होता है, देश में मामले भी आते हैं, लेकिन पहला बार मैंने सुना हो कि महादेव का नाम में भी लूटा जाते हैं। अगर आपको लूटना ही था तो ऐप का नाम आप महादेव ऐप नाम नहीं देते हुए आप बाघेल ऐप आप नाम दे देते थे, आप हिमंत ऐप नाम दे देता था, कोई जिंटू सिंटू रतन का ऐप बना देते थे, लेकिन सीधा सीधी आप महादेव को चैलेंज कर लिया, महादेव का नाम में ऐप बना के। तो मैं छत्तीसगढ़ वासी महादेव का भक्त है, मैं यही अपील करता हूं कि चुनाव का पहले तो भक्त हिसाब कर ले, चुनाव का बाद तो खुद महादेव हिसाब कर लेगा।